I've said many times on the show, the world is constantly changing. It's constantly evolving. Things are never the same. Yet us as leaders, we need to keep up. We need to keep up with the changes. We need to keep ahead so that we can take care of our people, take care of our organizations, and as well take care of ourselves. But what lies in the future for us as leaders? That's this week on the Moving Forward Leadership Podcast, episode 89, The Future of Leadership. Welcome welcome all to the Moving Forward Leadership Podcast. It's your host and founder, Scott McCarthy. And thanks for coming out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. You're here because you want to be a better leader. That's why we're all here. That's why I do this podcast, right? And that's why I go out and find world-class guests to bring those, basically strategies and tips and advice that they have to help us out as leaders. Today is not going to be that type of show though. Today is more just me, but it's going to be more questioning. It's going to be more reflective. It's going to be more diving in for things for us as leaders to think about in the coming days, months, years, whatever. And that is, what is the future of leadership? What is our future? Before I start diving into the topics at hand today, I just want a quick shout out to the Moving Forward Leadership Mastermind. If you're not a part of the mastermind, then what are you doing? Just swing by movingforwardleadership.com/mastermind and come join the conversation. Come have a conversation about leadership, about the future of leadership, where things are going in the world and how we can take care of ourselves, our people, etc. during that time. All right. So let's dive into today's topic. Again, it's just me, my thoughts. I literally jot them down on my phone this past week as I was reflecting about different things. And it's just some topics to talk about. The first one is the impact of technology on leadership. As technology keeps becoming more and more important, well, we find ourselves in this predicament, right? Where technology is actually overtaking all those jobs that we need people to do right now. If you think about not even 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, you go to a grocery store or any type of store, it was always people checking you out. But what do we have now? Now we have more people actually being replaced by self-checkout machines that are able to do that task instead of a person. So we're starting to have less people, right? But the jobs that are coming up are becoming more technical because if you think about it, that one person that is supervising, we'll say 10 self-checkout counters, no longer needs to just know how to check out people, but they actually need to understand how those machines work, because if someone has a problem, they can go take care of it for them. So yes, we're requiring less people, but we're requiring more specialized people. So what does it mean? How do we go about do that? Do we actually just go out and seek more specialized people, or do we provide training to our current employees, our current members, to get those skill sets? And how about the other people? We slimmed 10 positions down to 1 because we replaced, 10 regular cashiers with 10 self-checkouts with one person supervising. That means a delta of 9 people. So what do we do with those 9? Do we just say, thanks for coming out, best of luck? Or do we look for new roles for them within the organization? These are all questions that, obviously every organization will be looking at it differently. If you're a profit-driven one, then obviously most likely you're going to say thank you, best of luck. Or you may re-roll them if you can find a role for them to easily slip into. But if you're not, then you may, more likely lean towards that re-rolling aspect. Anyway, just every organization is different. I'm not going to critique anybody for what they decide to do. I'm just going to say these are questions that we need to consider and think about moving forward. As well with technology, as we move to more distance work, telework working, working from home, working on the road, how does that impact teamwork and building our teams and how we build our teams. As these things get more and more common, as people demand them more and more common, then how do we build our teams? And in fact, what is the next iteration? Because working from home is already here. But what's after working from home? That's my question now. What comes next? Is it organizations working from home? Or are we going to go back to the whole companies in physical buildings? Maybe that's actually going to be the next trend, because the issue with everybody working from home is that whole teamwork aspect, productivity. Studies say that it's more productive to work from home. Other studies say it's not. I think it just depends on the person, the role, and the organization. I don't think we can cookie cutter this. But the question is, with working from home, is how do we build our teams? How do we go about doing that? I've discussed it a little bit throughout the podcast in its history, but it's something that we should definitely look at diving deeper into in the future. And on top of that, of technology and more people working from home or working displaced, whatever, is the impact of globalization. As the world gets tighter and tighter, we get more diverse. So with that comes great strengths, right? Because everybody has different strengths, but we got to be able as leaders to take those strengths and use them effectively. We can't let our biases get in about certain cultures, certain types of people, where they're from, countries, etc. As the world gets smaller, we need to focus in on the strengths of everyone, vice focusing on, the weaknesses. As well, we need to be aware of cultures and culture sensitivities to ensure that our people who are working for us feel like they're part of the team, that they're welcomed. And that's going to drive, more cultural training, cultural awareness training, seminars, discussions. And you know what's a great way to do that informally is just through team building activities. When you have someone from a different culture, different background than 90% of everybody else, then why not see if they're comfortable in talking about it and discussing and explaining their culture to everybody else out there in the team? It's a great way to bring everybody together. That's globalization. And then the next topic is business changes with the processes of business and artificial intelligence and business intelligence, which is driving a lot of data right now. And I think we're definitely coming into the whole AI, BI era. It's right around the corner. I can feel it. I think you can see it too. We are soon going to be there. How is that going to impact our organizations? Obviously, it's kind of back to that whole, it's part of technology, right? Of making less people working in organizations, but having them more specialized. As an example, truck drivers. I seriously believe truck driving, the trade, the occupation of long haul trucking is near its extinction. Why? Because once autonomous driving vehicles get built and certified and they are ready to roll, that will be the first occupation that will go. Because paying someone to sit in a truck for 12, 18 hours a day is very expensive in comparison to an autonomous vehicle. I truly believe the trucking logistics companies out there are waiting for this. Once autonomous vehicles come, autonomous transport trucks come, and they are good to go, you will see a mass switch over from just normal trucks to the autonomous drive trucks. Guaranteed. So my point is, what happens to those hundreds of thousands of jobs here in Canada? What happens to the millions of jobs, tens of millions of jobs worldwide when this goes, global? What happens to those people? These are all really higher level thinking than, how do I treat my people today when I show up to work, right? But that's where we need to be as leaders. You need to be thinking strategically. You need to be thinking about the future and getting ready for the future. And then the final thought in my head is, the millennials are here. Millennials, you're old now. They're hitting into the high 20s, early 30s. That generation they're in the workforce. I think we've talked enough about the millennials. But what's that next generation? Those teenagers right now, getting ready to finish up high school soon. People who are currently in university or college. What are they like? How are they different from the millennials? Are they going to be different than the millennials? Or is this going to be an extension of the millennial generation? These are the questions that I'm starting to think about. What are they going to bring to the table in comparison to what the millennials brought to the table? Or are they going to be exactly the same? We don't know yet because they're not here. But this is something we need to be talking about because we don't want to get caught again. It seemed like when the millennials showed up, no one knew or understood how to, quote unquote, deal with them. Really how to have them in their organization and use them to their advantage. But they're here now, they're set in, and benefits that they bring are definitely outweighing the risks, I would say, if there is such a thing as a risk in this case. But my point is what's next? What's after the millennial generation? And how can we actually be prepared, learn the lessons that we've learned with the millennial generation so that we don't have the same situation pop up? I know today's was really high level, really deep, but I truly believe as leaders, these are the types of questions from not all the time, but definitely time to time, we need to sit back, reflect upon, and ask. And not necessarily search the answers for right away, but maybe just have the discussions or start having discussions around it. All right, folks, that's it for today. Next week, next couple weeks, we definitely got a couple interviews lined up for you. So, you'll enjoy those. There are two awesome guests that, I got lined up for you right now that's going to be coming out. So you'll definitely enjoy them. Vicky Oliver and Chris Ostergaard. A couple serious subjects that, will be important. And I tell you, you'll enjoy them. Believe me, because I thoroughly enjoyed them. A lot of fun and most importantly, all kinds of great information. But that's it for this week. Until next week, and as always, stop bossing and start leading. Take care now.